Good morning. Gonna bring y'all along for some biscuits and coffee. I've not even made my coffee yet. It's early. I want to get a pan of biscuits going, and so I'm gonna do it before I even make my coffee. I did it's a skillet biscuit, whatever you want to call it. It's really good, and I did that on a video the other day when I was cooking one of my homeschooling videos with Porter Hale, and so I thought I'd just bring it back on its own so everybody could see how it's done. It's so good. It's a wonderful biscuit. So anyway, let me get the camera around and I'll show you how I'm doing this, and we'll get over and make some coffee while this stuff is cooking. It takes about 20 minutes to cook, so here we go. Alright, I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I took 2 spoonfuls of flour out after I got it in here, and I replaced it with 2 spoons of baking powder. These are larger than tablespoons. I don't know what size. It doesn't matter. It's equal amount going out, equal amount going back in. That's what I say. So there's 2 cups of my all-purpose self-rising flour. I've got 1 cup of buttermilk and 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Yeah, I'm going to use the same spoon that I mix my flour around with. It's less to clean up this morning. Let's say it's early. So I'm going to try to start doing these on Mondays. It is Monday, and I'm going to try to get this thing posted today. If for a reason I run out of time, I'll get it posted by Tuesday morning. But I'm going to try to post it later this morning. It's about 6. I think it's 6:15 right now, so I should have time. It's not going to be a really long video. It's funny, some of my videos, talking to the wife the other day, a 20-minute video sometimes can take me 8 hours to edit. So I'm kind of slow, and I do everything on my phone. So anyway, it's all, you can see it comes together pretty quick. It's kind of ragged, and this is going to be cooked in the skillet, and it's cold skillet. It's not hot. I've just got it sprayed with some vegetable oil. So I turn this out on my silicone pad. Get stuff out of the way here. You don't want to overwork this. I learned this recipe years ago when I was a hunting guide down in South Texas. We were about 50 miles off the border, and my border brothers, the Hispanic workers that lived on the ranch year round and worked, they made this. So you just want to kind of roll it up, and like I say, don't overwork it. You just want to make sure it's all kind of come together. Looks like that'll do it right there. Got a couple of chunks here that didn't get in it. We'll just put that on the bottom right there. How's that? I believe it'll still work. And just taking, this is about an 8-inch skillet. I guess you could take and roll this out and cut biscuits out of it. I haven't tried that recipe yet. I've done it other buttermilk biscuit recipes that you roll it out and put them in a pan and all that good stuff. So anyway, here's how I'm going to do this one. Where's my knife here? I'm going to score this. Let's see. I'll score maybe 3 across it. One this way. One this way. Get a head start on my cutting here. I've got a little bit of milk. I'm just going to brush over the top of it. I think you could do butter. Melted butter probably would be fine. Not sure which, but you'd want to try. But butter makes them pretty crispy on top. Milk just helps it brown a little bit. And this is going to cook at a low temperature for about 20 minutes. It's going to cook at about 325. No crazy wildness. My other biscuit recipes are I picked those at 400, 450. All right, I've got the oven turned on, preheating at 325. I'm gonna put this cold pan of biscuits in, and I'll bring you back here in just a second when I get over to the other stove. All right, back with you over here. You see I've got my biscuit, my skillet biscuit, and I've cut the sections, brushed it with butter. The oven is preheated, it's at 325. Get this in without burning myself. It is early. How about let's make some coffee? I can use it this morning. Be right back with you. Get rid of my filter from yesterday, my coffee in it. Just tap water, not filtered. I've got a filtered water right here, but it doesn't really make a difference. And my wife drinks that in her water bottles, and so I just use regular old water. Get this baby started. Get my coffee grounds out of here before I make a mess. What kind of coffee do you all drink? Is it percolator, or is it a you drink cowboy coffee, the boiled coffee, which I love. Here's how I make my coffee. You know what? I need to set the timer on this. Let's see. Set it for 19 minutes. I've been gabbing for about a minute. It's a 20-minute cook. There it is. I always check it before anyway. Here's how I do mine. I do percolator drip coffee, of course, old style. Anyway, back to what type of coffee do y'all make if you're a coffee drinker? And you like it dark coffee, dark roast. Shoot, I take this paper filter and I fold it like this until it's a point, and then I take and rip off the tip of it. If you can see that where I tore the tip off. The reason I do that, if you unfold it, it makes a, because these filters are not designed for a whole percolator like this, but neither is this coffee that you get nowadays. I'm sure you could probably still get coffee designed for a percolator. I just don't know. We buy this Mac Cafe. It's a great flavor of coffee for us. Everybody's got their own likings, of course. And that's all it is to it. It's the way I make it. shake it around in there and make it it's even. You can see the lid is flat down on it now. Put my basket in, my percolator. I've already got the heat on. My mother and father, I kind of remember her having an electric percolator that she used, and then they got a Mr. Coffee. Yeah, they were uptown with their Mr. Coffee. Sorry about the bad lighting this morning. And anyway, I learned to drink dark coffee when I was pretty young. My dad was old school, and I don't think we really ever talked a lot about him on the channel. His dad came to Texas on a mule with his twin brother. I believe they were 8 or 9 years old, somewhere in that. They were under 10 years old when they left Mississippi, Port Gibson, Mississippi, to be a matter of fact. And they loaded on a mule with a couple of rifles or a rifle and a shotgun, and some flour and maybe some meat and probably cured bacon or ham. And they headed west, young man. I mean, these are different people and a different breed of people. I mean, I can't imagine my little next door neighbor that I had on video the other day, Hudson's his older brother, Porter. He's 10 years old, or 11, and I can't imagine him and his brother getting on a horse and going to California, or a mule going to California, much less back in the day in the 1800s. I mean, Louisiana was still pretty wild. Mississippi was, and Texas was, and I don't know if they went. I can't even remember. I know they crossed Fort Gibson, the river somewhere in there, the Mississippi River. I think they went across on a barge, and it took them about a year to get over to Texas. My grandfather, at one point, fell. They were working in a sawmill, kids working in a sawmill, and fell over the blade as it was cutting, and it ripped his stomach open. And they put some kerosene, or they call it coal oil, a type of kerosene, and they washed his insides out with that, because I mean his guts literally fell out. They had some doctor there, and they sewed it back up, and I guess a week or so he went back to work. And I don't know exactly how. I don't know if they got enough money finally to get a wagon. I can't remember. I just know that they brought some planked, I think it's called longleaf pine, that had been cut down so that they could use it once they got here to help build. And they were meeting their older sister that was already here in Texas. I don't know how she got here or anything about that. So the pine they brought back, or part of it, I don't know how much they brought back, but part of it my grandfather built the door. And they were sharecroppers, didn't have a lot of money, but they built the door, and I guess had this old house they lived in from the 1800s, and they built the door for it and used it in the door as a door in there. And then they left that place, and that's where I grew up at. And it was on next door to my dad's land that he owned. And we went over there one day. That old house was falling down, and he knew the owner. And we got that door out of there, and my dad took it down to our feed bin and made a door for our feed bin. And then when they sold the big ranch and moved to a smaller place, we took the door down and put it in another barn. And then after my parents had passed away and we sold the farm, or the ranch, or what you want to call it, sold their place. I took the door and brought it here at this house. I'll take a picture of it. I stripped it. It had about 5 or 6 coats of green paint on it and white, and whatever I guess they could get a hold of. But I made a closet door out of it when I was rebuilding this house. So let me get this heat turned down here. It's starting to perk. I turn it down to about 3. You can kind of see it's going to slow down. It's going to work out pretty good. It's 9:31 left, and I usually set the timer for 8 minutes, so that'll be good. Close before the timer goes off on the bread, the coffee will be ready. So anyway, yeah, my grandfather, those are different boys, different times back then. I mean, you talking about tough now. And my dad wasn't far from that. I mean, I know I've talked about him and I going to Mexico buying wild Mustangs, and going down there and pulling a 2-horse trailer with a 48 Chevrolet car, a 2-door coupe. Him and I sleeping in the back on the border, going into Laredo buying these horses from they were slaughterhouse horses, going for dog food, or I guess any kind of food. So we would buy the young ones and bring them back up here and break them and sell them. They make great ranch ponies, lots of sense. Wilder than hell. Literally, there may be a movie called Mustangs Wilder Than Hell or whatever. They were hard to break, they were stubborn, but once they learned what they needed to do and they trusted you, they would do anything. So anyway, like I said, different time, and my dad grew up in that time. I mean, he did, I did what he said. The only time my dad and I ever got into a big tussle, you might say, and I guess all boys maybe will have a difference with their father at some point in time, and it out in the yard one night, my mother was watching, and my dad and I were arguing about something, and it went to fisticuffs. My mother went crazy. She didn't know what to do. I mean, and I don't know how old I was. I was in my 20s, so I was in prime shape. My dad was probably 50 years old at that time, or wasn't even he was in his 40s. So you had these 2 young bulls out in the front yard. I mean, we wasn't just talking; we were getting it on. And when the fight was over, I don't know why it stopped or anything about it. I just think my mother was screaming and crying. My dad, his little finger right here, it broke. I think it broke on my jaw. And he never got it fixed. And when they buried him, his hands were up here, and I could see that bent. It was a reminder of what had happened that night. And we talked about that, why we had problems, and I told him that I grew up just like him, and so he wanted me to be something else, and I couldn't be because I grew up just like him. I mean, I was the same wild kid that he was, and of course that's why we butted heads. But after that, it was pretty good selling after that, I had to admit. And anyway, let me go get, let me let this finish perking. Let me check this. Oh yeah, it's looking good. And you can tell I hadn't had my coffee yet. I'm still sleepy. But anyway, this is your Monday morning chat. I had a fall 2 weeks ago. Sat down on a little stool that had rollers, and it rolled, and I rolled and hit the floor. Thought I had died. Only thing it was really hurt was my pride, and because I couldn't get up, it kind of knocked the breath out of me, and my knees are bad. I couldn't roll over and get up on my knees, so my pride was really hurt. Had to get some help to get up, but other than that, my hips still bother me a little bit from that. I've got an old injury where a trailer fell on top of me many years ago, 40 years ago, and I never had my back repaired. I don't know if anybody y'all have back problems. I got my lower back has L4, L5, and S1 are calcified and blown out and deteriorated. And, you know, it is what it is. I just choose not to get rods put in them. And it's kind of got it angry. There's a knot in the top of my hip, but they x-rayed me, nothing's broke, just lots of calcification and arthritis, you know, everywhere. So, you know, just doing the best I can. And you know, the reason I started making my videos is first to show my kids and, you know, share my food and some recipes. And then after I had my heart event, came back, and, you know, the bottom line was never give up. So I ain't giving up now. I may be a little slower after my little accident the other day, but I'm still getting around, and slowly but surely, day by day, you know, getting better. So all my videos are keep on keeping on, don't give up. All right, let me look at this pan biscuits here. Yeah, it's perfect. Right at 20 minutes exactly. Get this up here. How's that look, boys and girls? Get me a cup of coffee poured. Ain't she a thing of beauty? Sorry, share ready so I can pull the biscuits apart. Good cup of coffee. Just finished perking. Alright, back over here on the cutting board. Get this picked up, show you. She is a pretty thing. Not only is she pretty, she's good. Let's see if this thing will pop out of here. Oh yeah, I can tell now. Let's just pop it out and put it on the cutting board. Alright, y'all help me here. I need all the help I can get. How's that, boys and girls? Alright, let's cut me a biscuit out of here. If it wasn't so hot, it would probably break apart. There you go. I'm gonna hold it just for a second to show the inside of it. Well, I broke off part of it because I didn't cut all the way through. Let me show you the big chunk here. Nice and tender, like you wouldn't believe. Very good. Very, very good. All right. Let me get a chunk of this up on my plate. Eat up the bad evidence here. Come on, get up here. Get the other half here. That's much better. I'm gonna take some wild harvested honey. This is from my buddy. He's got some hives, and his honeybees they just go out and harvest anything and everything, so the taste will vary from time to time, but it's always good. All right, I've got this biscuit ready. I put some honey on it. It's going to be good. I was talking about my grandfather, and I guess the reason I was thinking about him this weekend, I went through my dad's knife collection, which he had about 25 or 30, I don't know, from early 1900s up. Some were my grandfather's, some were his, some that I'd made for my dad, gave to him. And my grandfather's straight razor was in there. I'll put up a picture of it, or I'll overlay it. I don't know when he got it. He must have been around 1910 or something, when he first started shaving. And so I'm going to gift that to one of our family members. And once I'm no longer here, and my knife collection I'm going to give to my grandson Cody, and my mini-me, as I call him. So let's get a bite of this. And that's really good. It's a great biscuit. Very, very good. Well, let me know what your favorite recipe is for biscuits. I've got several out, or if it's someone else's, let me know who you follow. And how you like your coffee. Do you want it strong and black, or weak, or blonde, or you do even make coffee, or you even a coffee drinker? I'll have something coming up here pretty soon for the people that need more than coffee in the morning. Yeah, a tomato-based product. Yeah, you know what it's going to be. A Bloody Mary. I'll have my recipe up here soon. There's no Mary in it, so I guess it's just called a Bloody, because very seldom I drink alcohol anymore. But I fixed that, and I fixed not having alcohol in it, and it's perfect. So I'll share that recipe with you sometime. So anyway, thanks for being here. Please subscribe and share my videos. Share them with your friends. Say, hey, here's an old dude. He really cooks, and he's really real. He ain't no fancy dancy stuff. Just sharing recipes and tales of the past. Talk to y'all later.